I'd like to call this meeting of the Palmdale Aerospace Board of Directors to session. Roll call.
David Guzman,
Present.
Nardi Lopez, Dennis Trujillo,
Present.
Justin Knowles, Ellen McIsaac.
President.
We have a quorum, sorry.
Mr. Levy, could you please lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Public comments for items not on the agenda? No? Okay. Public comments concerning agendized items? Thank you. Reports? Superintendent Lynch?
Doing anything except it's summer break and we're looking forward to the new year. Gearing up for it.
Thank you. Director of Student Services, Mr. Riley?
We are at the bitter end of getting all of our end of year reporting done, so hoping that will be done before I leave on Thursday for vacation. So, but I think we're really close.
Thank you. Director of Special Education, Ms. Rossett?
I don't have any comments at this time.
Thank you. Director of Facilities, Maintenance, and Operations, Mr. Dilger?
Our two construction projects on site are going smoothly and on schedule. All of the classified teams working this summer are actively working to prepare for the next school year. We'll be ready for when they arrive.
Awesome, thank you. Chief of Business Official, Ms. Saraswat?
I'm just happy to report that we have budgets for next year. I've met with all the departments and school sites and everybody has their budgets. We have all the contracts already laid out and everybody's ready to go to start the school year. I'm very excited about that.
Awesome, thank you. That's great news. Okay, consent agenda. The motion before us is the consent agenda. I'm sorry, employer organizations, PATA and PACA? None? Okay. Please note Ms. Lopez is present. Thank you. All right. The item before us is the consent agenda. Do we have any discussions or any questions on the consent agenda?
No.
No? Okay. May I have a motion, please?
I move to approve the consent agenda in its entirety.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Consent agenda approved. Thank you. Discussion items. Recommendation to approve the remodel of classrooms and common spaces.
So you heard about this last board meeting. This is a not to exceed because it's going to take about the year to sit down with Mr. Dilger and Mrs. Zarazua and the teachers and go through what it will actually cost, but we're figuring this is a little higher than what we hope we're going to spend, but we want to be a not to exceed to the board so we can get started on it.
Is it mostly furniture, or is there going to be any remodeling?
There's a lot of variation. Most of it is just furniture, but there's some more awesome ideas that would be a little bit more extensive with new, different type of flooring.
Okay, thanks.
And I know you had a question about the funding, which I'm going to defer to.
As far as funding, is that
Yes,
within the budget?
Yes, so what we will be using for, because they are capital expenditures, especially for doing flooring and items like that, so it will go a reduction in cash, and we'll take it out of the fund balance, which, as we know, we've been trying to spend down that $26–30 million, so it'll come out of that fund balance and will not affect the budgets this year.
Great.
And I think another positive, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Dilger, but that we're getting to where we need to start replacing furniture,
Yes.
so this is a good step in seeing what we want and what we don't want, and
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Do we know how many classrooms, and is it distributed among the different schools, like elementary, middle school, and high school, and how were the classrooms selected? Like how were the teachers, the first round of teachers selected?
Yeah, so the teachers that attended the summit, there's 3 per site that were selected by their peers, actually 2 by their peers and 1 by administration, so 3 at each site will get selected for we'll have new classrooms. And 4 at the high school.
And is there a plan in place as to when there would be a consideration for additional classrooms or teachers to have that option, and how will that take place?
So the plan is to have this as a pilot, see how it goes, see which rooms are successful, see if we see any how it works with our students, then offer the summit again next summer with board approval, of course, for teachers who weren't able to attend. And administration's feeling is teachers must attend to be able to have this, because they're basing their spaces off of what they learned in the summit, the ways that they can engage students with their classroom spaces to enhance learning. So they have to go through that training to get it. So teachers, we would phase out, we would have like a phase of teachers who attended the summit in line, depending on how much money we have, and we talked about bonds in the future. So, it's a lot of money to do the whole campus. for
And
all
so
those
I,
things.
I know that here it says it's $350 for all of them. How is that gonna be distributed amongst each classroom? Is there a design already in place, or?
We figured about 25 to 30 each classroom. And that's looking at what we've spent on prior classrooms and what the cost currently is, so. And like I said, we went a little high with, we went a little bit over what that added up to be. But it'll be even for each class. So the way I've done this in the past is teachers get a certain amount. Back when I did this a long time ago, it was like they got $10,000. And the teachers took the $10,000, we gave them our vendors that we use, they worked with our maintenance and operations department, and they got approved furniture for their classroom that was on the list of places that we could go to, but they all had a set amount. And so they either met that amount or they were under the amount, and that's what we plan to do with this. But ideally, it would be nice to go through the whole academy eventually.
We will need to.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
eventually, this will tie into our master facilities plan. When we do full furniture recycling, we'll align it to the standards and what we've learned through this process on there. We should have a lot of feedback of what works and does not work
Yes.
after this exploration of, I think, 9-10 classrooms.
Yeah.
Is there any metrics in, I mean, I don't know, I know this is something new, but is there a way to track when doing this, you said to track the benefits to the students along the way?
There is through our youth truth in terms of their feeling of their belonging in school, and what the teachers talked about in the summit is having student voice and choice in what the furniture looks like. So the whole idea is they start their year, they work with the teachers, what would our classroom look like, what would help students feel like they're part of the classroom. So we're hoping to see an increase in their connectiveness to school and wanting to be here, and hopefully approved attendance.
I'm also very curious because we have tracking capabilities of all maintenance and technology requests within specific classrooms. We should see if the students are more engaged and thrilled with the furniture that's in there. You should see a reduction of maintenance, of repair due to vandalism on there. And we are optimistic that by ownership of the teacher and the students, we should see a positive trend in that direction as well. The statistics will have to show over time.
Ms. Lynch, when are you expecting to see this done? So like, they gave the preliminary designs, right? And they're gonna be with facilities and stuff. So when do you see it? Are you waiting for the kids to come so they can start designing the
Yeah.
kids?
So the idea is in August to have a meeting with all the teachers who were selected, with Mr. Dilger and Ms. Arzua, and we're going to look at, we're going to give them, here are the 3 sites you can use, we gather all their information, we price it all out. But they have to speak to the students first about what do you think the ideal classroom would be. So they're going to do some empathy interviews with students to start off. Yeah, but that happens in August. That's why it's going to be a year. We're not going to be doing this, right this second. We just want to have the money to be able to start.
Any further questions?
I'd like to make a motion to recommend the approval of remodeling classrooms and common spaces.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Recommendation to approve the variable term waiver.
Yeah, so the variable term waiver is used for teachers who are in program but don't currently have a credential. We have a teacher that took over one of our STEM classes about halfway through the school year. She is in a program, she's in the process of working on her preliminary credential. This allows us to do the emergency credentialing for that person while they work through the actual credentialing process.
Any questions? No? May I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to recommend the approval of the variable term waiver.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Recommend to approve Zavidi. Mr. Roger.
Hello, good evening.
So what you're about to see is a little bit of work that we've been doing with the teachers and then with our rep here. We found a program that is called Vivi. It will help us combine our projectors and our computers and everything together so that we could display a lot easier in the classrooms. What I will show you right here, and we should have a rep with us as well. Her name is Sandra Leamer, and she's going to take over and just have a few slides at the beginning here. Just so you could see, we reached out to all of our teachers here on campus. We've got 71 responses, and this is kind of a breakdown out how everyone wants, if they want it or don't want it. So we have our elementary, middle, and high school, and pretty much it's almost overwhelming. We've got about 80% teachers saying yes, that they do want this in their classrooms. Here you'll see just a quick little of what it looks like in our classroom. So what I did here is, if you see on the left side there is just a computer. On the right side it's an iPad. It's kind of a small image, but what's happening is the iPad is actually displaying the 3D projector, or printer, sorry, right there. And the computer is displaying just the website, the teacher would be using. So you can kind of see it in action right here. And of course, this is two different images that they're displaying in their classroom at the same time. Right now, this is a STEM classroom. It's a bit bigger than our other classrooms. It's kind of hard to see the projector from all the way in the back. So we're hoping to take the one image, be able to split it to both sides, or they would have either the same image or they could have two different images. It's just to help get a little bit more student engagement, have students be able to see what's going on in the classroom from various angles. And then next, our rep will take over just to give a little bit deeper dive into what Vivi is. If she's there with us right now. Sandra, are you there?
I am here. Thanks for having me today.
Okay, Sandra, it's all you.
Okay. Thanks so much for having me today. I really appreciate being here. My name is Sandra Weimer. I am with Vivi. I was a teacher for 20 years prior to moving over into this space. So I've been in the classroom. I understand a lot about how students work, how teachers work, what they're looking for. And one of the things that's really nice about Vivi is that we do align with your mission statement. Everything that we do is for education. That is what our company is designed for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about some of the things that Vivi can do to help support your classrooms with your teachers and student engagement. And there is a video that'll be attached on there if you want to see it in action. I'm not going to show it now just because there's a little bit of a delay, but I believe you guys have this slide so you're able to watch that. So there's that link on there. And then when I was working with Michael, we were talking about some of those current challenges that are in the classroom, that there is that limited interactivity with the students. The students are more sitting, they're getting the information versus being a part of it. And the screen sharing is always something, especially when you're talking about doing any type of wireless screen mirroring, being able to show something across to the classroom for all students to be able to see it, and that real-time feedback that Vivi can offer you. So talk a little bit about the key features. Again, we do the wireless screen mirroring. What's really nice about that is that does enhance the student engagement. So not only do teachers get to do the wireless screen sharing, but students can also share. So they become owners of their learning, where you can have up to actually 4 students at a time sharing and participating in the activities. We do have a really cool feature coming out in mid-July, which will be available for you for back to school, where the teachers are able to actually stream directly to the students' devices. So I know one of the things that Nicola talked about is being able to see it from wherever you're at. Well, we have students that sometimes need a little extra support, or just the way that they're pointed because they're working in a group that they're not able to see the front. So it will actually be able to stream directly to the students' devices so they can follow real time. Some of the other things that we do is we do have emergency broadcast capabilities. So we have visual emergency alerts. So when you're thinking about your emergency alert system that you have, it will integrate with that so that you're able to very quickly respond to any type of emergencies that happen within the building. We know that seconds count, and having that visual piece along with that audio piece and those alarms is really a great way to help make sure everybody is where they need to be when something is to happen. We also do school-wide communications, so we do things like digital signage. We also do things like live announcements. I love showing the example or talking about the example where we have a 5th grade teacher in Nebraska, and what she does is she has her 5th graders actually do the daily announcements every day with just a laptop, a camera, and the microphone that's right on there. So again, when you're talking about building that community, building that sense of belonging, bringing in all of those pieces so that students are able to feel like they belong and celebrate them. The other piece too is that it is device agnostic. So what that means is for Michael and his team, it's going to cut down on trouble tickets. They're able to do everything from one central location, and it doesn't matter what type of screen or device the teachers or students are using. It will all work with Vivi, so you won't have to worry about something not working with one, not working with another, and then it also gives that same experience across the school, so that every student and teacher are going to have all of the pieces regardless of what their particular situation looks like in the classroom. One of the other main things that Vivi does too is we really do take into account what teachers are asking for. So a lot of our new features that are coming out are actually requested by teachers or by administrators. So we are always taking that information, we're always taking those ideas, and we're looking to see how we can improve. We have done so many different variations of new features coming out just this year, and so this one that's coming out in July is going to be our big one. And then what I pulled up is I did pull your district goals. And Vivi really does support all of these district goals. It helps that 21st century skills and that career readiness so that students are able to learn how to present in front of groups, how to be able to share, how to collaborate, all of those pieces. And what we do for the implementation plan is we support you through all of it. So they have completed the pilot, so we're at that point. Once we move forward with the purchase and the installation, we will actually have an implementation manager take you through all of those steps, make sure everything's up and running. You're never without some sort of support. You'll get a dedicated customer success manager, you'll get our solution engineers, as well as all of our professional learning is included with the price of Vivi. So it's not something that you're going to have to worry about budgeting for later. It's always going to be available, whether it be live, virtual, or self-paced types of things. And then as far as metrics and ongoing support, we will meet with you on a quarterly basis to go over all of those metrics to see what features you're using, which features are still not where you want them to be, and what can we do to help support those teachers to move that forward so that you are getting all of the benefits of everything that Vivi has. This is just a little quick piece of metric that we did. You had a couple of boxes that you were using, and just within that short period of time, the amount of presenting hours of them sharing was really impressive for a pilot. We normally don't see those types of numbers when you're doing a smaller pilot like that. So that just shows that they were engaged and they really wanted to find out more. Even without the training that they have, the teachers are already learning how to use it. So it is really simple to get up and running. It doesn't take a lot, but we're always there to provide that support. And then what we've come up with as the cost and budget is we do have, we call it a district site license. So what this is we are doing a 1-year proof of concept. So it'll give you 1 year to try it out with everybody. So it will be across the district, and that everybody will receive the same thing. Then we're going to go through, and once you sign, then we're able to get those devices out to you right away. So Michael and his team can actually get them set up before the contract would start on that August 1st date. So it gives you that time to do that onboarding with those pieces. It gives you the unlimited student access. It gives you devices for all of your classrooms. All of the warranty is included, the professional learning, and then again, the customer success and the technical support is available as well. So I'm gonna pause, I did a lot of talking there. Are there any questions?
Questions?
The cost of the 25.2 is the initial one, and then what was the other line there? Is that
No.
the 31,290?
So that's just what the MSRP would be, but we're getting a discount. So it's just the 25,000.
So annually, then it would be the 25,200?
Right, if we choose to keep going, it would be annual. So for 1 year, it would be the 25, and then if we choose to keep going with it, that would be the same cost.
And is this device like a little box that the teachers connect to their system in the classroom, and then that kind of gives them access to all the computers within the classroom?
Right, so how it's gonna be set up is if you could think of like an Apple TV almost, we would have one pretty much hooked up to the projector, and we'll have one connected to the Promethean board. From there, once the teacher comes on campus, we're actually gonna be pushing out the program. So whichever computer that they're holding, they'll have the program on there. They're gonna sign in with their TPAA email, and from there, they have access. So pretty much, if you're room 101, I'm giving you access to your boxes in room 101. The moment you sign in, those are the only ones you're gonna be able to see. If for some reason you have to run over to room 105, the teacher is there, but they just want you to be like a guest, they could actually invite you to have access to their Vivi boxes. So that's how that would work.
Then for let's say the announcements, right? I think you said right, like campus-wide announcements, right? Who's gonna have access to that, and is there chances of it being tampered with or anything like that? Unappropriate announcements or stuff like that going out?
So I can answer most of that from what I've seen, but if Sandra, if you want to step in on this, pretty much the system is very locked down. You need to be a staff member and be invited into this. We're not going to have little Johnny run up and be able to hijack the system because first of all, he won't have an account and he won't have a device that is linked to all of this. So pretty much if we go that route, like say for elementary, they do morning announcements. We could set them up with a little computer and however they want to do it, and now the little kids could be there and we could actually present that to all of elementary school. But it is a very locked down and secure system where no one could do anything unless we give them permission for it.
And then the campus-wide announcements, let's say Paul or anything like that, I mean, would he have access to that, or who would have access to the campus-wide ones?
Yeah, pretty much whoever that we deem would need it. It's very simple from what I've seen. Pretty much we could just have an admin list, and from anyone in there, if there's ever an emergency, they could just jump on and send out this message from there.
Thank you.
Is the 210 units, that's how many classrooms are
Yeah.
in all?
Correct, so
both campuses?
pretty much what's happening there is it's 2 per classroom. So then I think maybe 1 or 2 extra for some of our extra areas over here. So now when we have a meeting, we could go over and someone could just project, a teacher could take their stuff and just now if they have a presentation, they could just project super easy in that area now.
And so if we go back to the slide where it showed the responses from the teachers, can you explain a little bit on that? Like it showed that it was 71 responses, so I'm assuming not all teachers responded.
Right, we probably are like 10 short of everybody.
Of everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. What happens if they're not used frequently, like the ones that are not interested in using them? So do we have the option of not having them in those classrooms and somewhere else where they're gonna be utilized versus?
I'm sure we'll cross that bridge when we get to it because this program, if you look at the hours, if we scoot ahead just a little bit. Can you scoot?
I don't know how to give the control back to you, so.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
After the first year, we could change the number if we need to.
Right,
Okay.
but yeah, pretty much.
Sorry, I was gonna say, I don't think, just because they said no doesn't mean that they might not try it once they're trained.
Yeah, it's, we actually got a few emails saying, I'm not saying no because I don't want it, I just want some more information.
Yeah.
So, and just to get an idea of what happened, is we sent out an email with, it was a little video just showing, hey, this is what it can do. And then during the PD day, we actually made use of that time to show off when our teachers were showing off the classrooms, they were able to use their iPad as a little camera, and they got in there and.
Yeah, we saw that.
And a couple of teachers were like, oh, that's what that is. And
Yeah,
their
so
voices
once that day happened, we actually got more teachers replying saying they wanted
I
it.
think she said, right, that you can monitor the ones that aren't being utilized as much
Oh, yeah.
to offer support, right?
Definitely, so we could see, pretty much we'll be able to see if this teacher over here is using it more than another one, and we could say is something wrong, or we could help, however, we could show them additional ways that they could utilize it. Maybe they're a bit confused on how it works in their classroom, but that's where we would step in and say, this is what you can do.
That's great, great technology to have.
Any further
Thank you.
questions? No? Can I have a motion?
Make a motion to recommend the approval of the
Seconded.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you. We'll talk soon, Michael. Thanks. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the motion before us is to recommend to approve the RFP for food service meal vendor.
So we've had Revolution Foods for 4 years, and our contract expires June 30th. And in order to continue to receive federal and state funding, we are required to, after you've used all your extensions, to send out a formal RFP for meal service, and that's what this is.
And this is just to go out there and just see what other vendors are out there and things like that, right?
Correct. What other meal vendors would be available to support.
Is it cheaper to have vendors pre-cook the food, bring it in, or is it cheaper to make the food here?
That's what we're working on now. At the next board meeting on July 22nd, I'll bring a whole presentation with what we currently are doing, why we're losing money, the cost per meal. And once we have the RFPs and we make a decision for a vendor and we'll get better meal count and price, and then what it would cost to change the type of food service we have to maybe a food prep so the meals are fresher, maybe a little bit more participation. So we'll have that for you at the next meeting.
Is it that we're not having participation from the kids not eating those meals?
Well, the cost of the meals have gone up and participation is lower maybe than it could be here. And it could be the times of the meals, the types of the meals, the food is maybe not what they like. We also have to look at staffing because staffing right now, based on the type of service we have, where they just deliver the meals and then our food service workers, they just turn around and provide it to them. There's no prep, there's fresh fruits and everything, so it looks like maybe we're high on staffing. So how would we adjust the current program we have, and going forward, what we would like to do and what I think makes the most sense here is to be able to do that type of food where the food is prepped. It's not cooked, it's not like having a chef, and I can see that in the long term maybe eventually, but in the short term it's a long process because being able to do that type of food prep, we also have to, we don't have a walk-in refrigerator, and we have to store a lot more food, so there are some equipment items that we have to do, so we've been getting quotes for that, looking at working with Paul's department, Mr. Dilger's department, to see what do we have room, what can we do, how do we work with the elementary school campus and the middle school, high school campus. So I want to make sure I have all my information, so I'll bring it to you in July, and Ms. Zapata will be here also, and she'll talk about the types of meals we'll be able to do, the freshness of the meals and quality, and maybe adjusting some scheduling and different ideas of how to serve the food. And we also are working with a consultant who has done this for years to help guide us.
Do they include any type of survey or anything of the students or the parents to get input as to what is liked and not liked, to kind of understand how to serve that need? 'Cause, I mean,
Well,
I think there's a lot of kids in our community that the meal here is one of their main meals.
Right, and
right,
there's a
at
lot of
school.
specifications and regulations on the type of food you can serve, and the quantity and the
Yeah.
amount, and the fruit and the vegetable and the portion on the plate. So, and it has to have a certain percentage of this, less sugar, so there's a lot of regulations on the type of food. So I am not sure, Mr. Dilger.
I can
you've done
speak on
the
that.
survey.
The students are surveyed, there's always an active QR code that they can provide their feedback on every single meal. Adjustments are made on a monthly basis. If they didn't like the chicken nuggets, they're probably not gonna be offered the chicken nuggets next month. We'll pivot on there. So there's always active feedback. The area that we could get stronger at is feedback from the parents, and I know that's an initiative by Ms. Zapata on there. My understanding is that sometimes these RFPs allow a taste testing session as well, and sometimes our parents are included in that as well.
And one of the items we will be doing with the RFP is when we narrow it down to who we will be choosing, we are also going to go visit that facility to make sure they can accommodate and do what they say they're going to do.
Any further questions?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the RFP for food service meal vendor.
Seconded.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Public announcements regarding closed session?
None.
None? Public comments for items on the closed session agenda?
None.
I'd like to adjourn for closed session at 6:02. Alright. I'd like to reconvene from closed session. The following actions were taken. Motion made by Mr. Trujillo and second by Ms. McIsaac to complete the payout of health insurance premiums for employee number 2024-2025-1. The vote went as follows: Mr. Trujillo, aye. Ms. McIsaac, aye. Ms. Lopez, aye. Mr. Lujan, aye. The motion made by Mr. Trujillo and seconded by Ms. McIsaac to ratify the settlement payment to employees 2024-2025-1, -2, and 2024-2025-3. The vote went as follows: Mr. Trujillo, aye. Ms. McIsaac, aye. Ms. Lopez, aye. And Mr. Lujan, aye. Other than that, there were no other actions. Board reports. Mr. Trujillo.
Nothing tonight.
Ms. McIsaac.
Nothing tonight.
Ms. Lopez.
Nothing.
Next meeting, July 22nd. This concludes the board meeting for the Public Aerospace.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
This concludes the meeting of Public Aerospace at 6:34.